on your hardware. Hardware is you telling yourself some better stories. You're the most amazing creation on the planet. You are ready to regain your mental profit. We're fighting this war for our brain. You're the most amazing creation on the planet. We're fighting this war for our brain. Start with this. Start with saying, I'm enough. You just rewired your brain. In this moment, I choose joy. You just rewired your brain.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
I am filled with gratitude. You just rewired your brain. You just rewired your brain. In this moment, I choose joy.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Day to day, you say, I am more than my own story. I am my own creation. I choose more. I choose greatness. I choose greatness. I choose greatness. You just rewired your brain. You need to stop shaking your brain.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to session 5 of your DMP as your marketing blueprint. We're helping you create your neuro purpose. I'm Sean Murphy. I'll be your host for the next 25 sessions. Hope today brings you great joy. Happy Monday. Fun weekend here at the ranch. So let's get started. Let's share a screen here. Where are we at? We are. Oh, there it is. Hang on. There we go. Technology. Gotta love technology. So how are you doing? Are you doing your homework, your success work? Are you doing the things that you need to do to take advantage of what's going on here with the marketing program? There we go. Share that screen. All right. Now you can see it. So we're 4 episodes in. Remember, there's a golden thread that weaves its way through all of this content. And it comes back to kind of something Brene Brown said about belonging is being able to connect, right? Your avatar's words in your marketing create the moment of recognition, right? The words that become your marketing. It's not your words, right? Jim Rohn said it, but maybe Zig Ziglar said it. Zig Ziglar said there's a big difference between enough information to buy something and having enough information to sell something. And the challenge is that we become very, very smart. We become very smart with who we are. We become very sophisticated with who we are. And we wind up, our words don't connect with our avatar, with our consumer, because they're looking to buy and we're looking to sell. And we just don't seem to have this whole connection together. So we're 4 episodes in, and here's where we are. You have your DMP locked in as your marketing strategy. I hope you do. I hope you've put that together. I hope you're just not watching this and going, well, I'll get to that, right? You have your avatar built from the inside out. You have the one problem statement that what's the one problem that you solve? And yesterday, you went out and listened, right? Did you do the success work? You found rooms your people are in and you started to collect the actual language, right? That was yesterday's session, right? Today, we put that language to work. Episode 5, the words that become your marketing, because the best marketing copy that will ever exist, that you will ever write, it already exists. You don't have to become a great marketer. It already exists. The marketing copy you need to convert yours, whatever yours is, your sales already exists. It's sitting right inside the communities you researched from yesterday's conversation. Your avatar's already written it. Your job is to learn how to use it. You know, when we talk about marketing and sales and training, we always talk about filling the gap, right? Here's where they are. Here's where you are. The more sophisticated you get, let me put it this way. The gap is how disconnected you are from your prospect, from your avatar. Wait a minute. I want to fill the gap. Exactly. In best, simplest way to say it, the gap is the disconnect. Now, there's the gap the prospect has from where they are, from where they want to get to. That's also a disconnect. Are they not disconnected from their visual capability, their visualization, their strengths, their skills, their talents? Because everybody has enough skills and talents to reach their ultimate goal, right? So here's the question. How long have you been living your expertise? Wait, what? How long have you been living your expertise? The thing you're good at, the thing you are looking to solve, your one problem statement. How long have you been working on that? How long have you been doing that thing? Is your expertise for months or years? How about your vocabulary? How sophisticated is your vocabulary compared to where your prospect is? You have frameworks, right, that you do your business in. You have a way of describing what you do that feels completely, listen carefully, feels completely natural to you because you've been inside of it for so long. You know what the challenge is? That vocabulary, that understanding, your clarity on what you do, for the most part, is the challenge, is the biggest problem for people. That vocabulary is the problem. So here's the expertise gap. When an entrepreneur comes to you, they're not thinking in your language. They're not using your frameworks, names. They're not describing their problem in the way that would describe it after working with them, working with you for 3 months. See, when you start this new engagement, it's one of the reasons I have a tagline that says your friend and student. People pay a lot of money to hire me, to help me consult with them, to help me coach them, to help me mentor them. And I'm their biggest student. Because the way I describe things after working with them for 2, 3, 4 months, a year, it's a different language. It's their language. It's one of the reasons I've been as successful as I am, is that I can translate my content into their language, usually from the first session. Didn't used to be that way. So here's an example. You might describe the work you do if you're in personal development, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer. The work you do, you might describe it as working the subconscious reprogramming for an identity statement. That's what I might say. Right? If you're working with somebody, my statement might be, listen, I do subconscious reprogramming to help with your identity alignment. That's what I do. My avatar doesn't describe it that way. They'll say something as simple as, I know exactly what I should be doing. I just can't make myself do it. Same thing. See the gap? See the gap in the perceived sophistication of it, the difference of it? My avatar can't hear that I work with somebody who knows just exactly what they do, but they don't have the discipline to move themselves forward. They can't hear that if I say, I deal in subconscious reprogramming to help with identity alignment. It's the same thing. It's completely different language. And that language, if I use theirs, stops the scroll every time. Do you know why most people say, hey, stop scrolling for just a moment. Can I get your attention for just a moment? To literally say something to help you stop the scroll. So my question to you is, the language that you're using, is it theirs or is it yours? This is what I call the expertise gap. The deeper your experience, this is why when somebody starts in network marketing or starts a new business, We call it ignorance on fire, because they're just doing the general thing, the basic thing, the normal thing, the language thing that makes sense. The deeper the experience, the wider the gap on how you describe, because we want to be sophisticated. We want to be special. It's the gap widens on how you describe, how your avatar describes their problem. And the wider the gap, the less you're making connects, no matter how good your content actually is. So the research you did yesterday in episode 4, or whenever you watched that video, is key to go listen to what your prospects are saying. You found the gap between where you are and the language they use to describe where they are. So what I'm going to walk you through is how to use that language. So here's the language system, the framework that's turning your research into language that powers everything you create. It has 4 layers. Each one builds on the one before. You've heard all of these. You've heard all of these. And if your marketing isn't connecting, you're not using them appropriately, right? Layer 1 is the hook. This language stops the scroll. It comes directly from the question your avatar keeps asking. What is the one question, the couple of questions your avatar is asking? The one that shows up over and over and over in the different communities you researched. If you didn't do the research, you don't know what I'm talking about. Go back, watch episode 4, and you'll figure it out. The hook layer is not clever. The hook lever that you reach out to them and cause them to pull, saying, I need more of what you do. It's recognition. It's not a clever statement. It's a recognition statement that you speak their language. If you've ever traveled internationally and your language is not the mother language of the location you went to, and you hear somebody speak your mother tongue, your language that you understand, you're like, oh my God, you speak my language, right? Isn't that true? I know for me, right, the polyglot, there's then there's the what do you call an American? Somebody who speaks one language, right? There's somebody who's a polyglot, speaks multiple languages. A bilingual, speaks 2 languages. What do you call somebody who speaks one language? An American. Typically. My point is this, is that when I would travel overseas, when I would travel internationally, I would have these moments where I know there's 3 or 4 languages being spoken around me and none of them are English, until somebody hears me and they go, oh, you speak English? I said, yes. Oh, I practice my English with you. I'm like, thank God, help me, right? That's what your prospects are saying. Nobody's speaking my language, my pain, my challenge, my problem. Oh, you speak it? Oh, thank God you can help me. It takes the exact words your avatar uses internally for them to hear you. If you can use the words they're using internally, the words maybe they're not even saying out loud, that's how you make the connection. Number 2 is the problem layer, right? This is the deep pain in their voice. This is where you name the real problem, not the surface one. It comes from the deep pain section of your avatar research, the 2 a.m. version. What are they saying at 2 a.m.? What's the one where somebody says, I don't care if I'll embarrass myself. I need help for, what is it that your avatar is looking for? This layer validates, right? There's the hook. Then there's this deeper layer. This validates that you understand not just what they're experiencing, why it's happening at a deeper level than they've ever been told. Why is somebody struggling with money? Why is somebody who's got buckets of talent? Why are they struggling? That's the deeper level. Layer 3 is the failure level. This is where you reference what hasn't worked. You've tried this, you've tried that, you've done this, you've done that. Not to criticize the other solutions, to validate your avatar's experience of having tried and not succeeded, tried and failed. When you say, if you've tried X and Y, you're speaking their language with X and Y, and they haven't worked, here's why. You're acknowledging that the avatar, is not the problem. The approach was the problem. The shift in arbitration from them being the problem to negotiating with them, you're negotiating with your avatar to say you weren't the problem. The process, the way you went at it, the way you used it was the problem. This is one of the most powerful things you can do in your marketing. Because if we keep telling them, if we keep beating them up, if we keep poking them and saying, you suck, you're not good enough, why aren't you better? You could do better. We have to let them know that it wasn't them. It was their approach. Because if the process works, Napoleon Hill has said it, Wallace D. Wattles has said it, if it works for one person, it can work for everyone. And if people are using the same approach and it's not working, it's how they're using it. If I give you a shovel and you use the handle to dig the ditch, not the spade part, not the flat metal part to dig the ditch, you can use the shovel to dig the ditch. You'll take a lot longer. Most people have their approach to the tools you offer upside down. So that's the failure layer, right? There's the hook layer, then there's the problem layer, then there's the failure layer, and now there's the number 4, the destination layer. This is the transformation language. The specific, the visceral description of where you take people. I really want you to hear that. I really want you to understand that this is not the key ingredient in your product. This is not your compensation plan. This is not your upline. This is not your years your company's been in business. This is not how much money you've made. This visceral description of where you take people, it is not a vague success language. It's the Tuesday morning conversation. What do I mean by that? It's the conversation they had with their significant other, the conversation they had with their friend, the moment that they check their numbers and they feel something different. The conversation that maybe they finally figured it out. The moment that you can give them the most or the more specific sensory feeling, that achievement language, the more powerful your avatar can feel the destination before they experience it. This is what they call in marketing visualization. Can you help them visualize? Can you give them a place that they can taste it, they can feel it? How many times have you ever said, man, I'm on the verge of success, I can taste it, I can feel it, I'm there? That's what this destination layer is about. Does your marketing do that? Does your memes on social media do that? Do your lives do that? Just making sense? It's very simple. This is where Einstein said, make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. Make it as simple as possible, not simpler. When you make it more simple, you complicate it. When you tell people you can get rich, that's pretty simple. You complicate the process. Here's the copy framework, right? The 4 sections. Build this today. This is your success work. Build this today. Now, because a language system that lives in theory doesn't sell. A language system that lives in theory. Well, here's kind of what I do. Until you have it written out, until you have it created, until you have it produced. So open up a new document, whatever you use, Google Docs, whatever it is, and create 4 sections. Label them: hook phrases, problem language, failure acknowledgement phrases, and destination language. All right? So hook phrases. Take your phrase bank, right? The stuff you wrote down from your research yesterday, going into different communities, different groups. And if you're not doing that, you're fooling yourself. If you have all of those phrases, pull out every phrase that names the pain or frustration in your avatar's voice. These are your hooks. You should have at least 10. I'll give you some examples here when we wrap up. Every ad you write, every post you create, every email subject line you test starts from this list. The second section, session 2, is the problem language, right? Take the deep pain you identified and write out 3 to 5 variations of it in their voice. The only reason people aren't flooding you and your success is, number one, that either they can't hear you or can't see you because you're not putting yourself out there. Number 2, if you're putting yourself out there and you're having conversations and they don't get it, it's because you're not speaking their language. You're not doing this. You're not creating the problem-solving language that only you are capable of. So number 2, take the deep pain and write out 3 to 5 variations of it in their voice. Practice it so you can actually hear it. Not your expert framing, not your years of business knowledge, not your years of success. Their words, their syntax, their emotional register. How are they feeling when these words come across? And syntax is the order with which you put something. Right? I can take eggs and milk and flour and I can stick it in a pan and put it in the oven. What if I don't crack the eggs? What if I don't take the flour out of the bag? It just said put a cup of flour in there. What if I put the flour in the cup, in the pan? That's syntax. I didn't do it in the right order. What if I turn the oven to 200 instead of 350? Just saying, right? So number 3, let's go to number 3. What are the failure acknowledgement phrases? Write 3 to 5 sentences that acknowledge their failed attempts. These go into the middle of your copy that you're creating. Hook, problem, right? The middle. They sound like things like these failure acknowledgement phrases sound like if you spent time on productivity systems and the results never stick, it's not because you lack discipline. It's because those approaches treat the behavior without ever addressing the belief driving it. So it's not that you don't have discipline. What I do is I help you address the belief that drives the lack of discipline. You have discipline. You're just refusing to use it to take the next step, right? And then number 4, the destination. These are the 4 sections you should be creating in your document. Section 4 is the transformation, right? Written in the second person. You, not they, you. In the present tense, as if it was happening right now. You wake up on Tuesday morning, and the first thing you notice is that the weight is gone. Not the work. The resistance is gone. What if you wrote that sentence? How would that sentence work for you? You wake up in the morning, it's Tuesday morning, you wake up, and you notice that if they get in business with you, if they go to work with you, what's the thing that's gone? What's the weight that they're feeling? What is the transformation that's gone because they decided to work with you? With me, it might be something, listen, the weight of delay is gone. The resistance of you arriving at your goal is gone. The fear is gone. Make it sensory specific, make it a very specific statement, and make it very present. What's the Tuesday? Today's Monday. What's the Tuesday morning conversation? If they got in business with you today, tomorrow morning, what is the thing they're going to, what is the transformation they're going to feel better about? Does that make sense? So here's where the resistance comes in for you. The resistance here is very specific. It sounds like, but if I use their words, isn't that inauthentic? Shouldn't my marketing sound like me? That's what a lot of people tell me. That's what a lot of people ask me. That's where they delay their own success, is because here's where the resistance kicks in on the person I'm mentoring. Well, shouldn't I use my own word? I mean, they're hiring me. Shouldn't they hear my words? Not yet. Not yet. The resistance here is very specific. What I want you to understand is when you're using the avatar's language, it's not inauthenticity. It's the highest form of respect. What do they say? What's the highest form of respect? Copying somebody. All right. It says, I listened. I listened so carefully I can speak your language. Your voice, your perspective, your beliefs, your energy, all of that comes in how you frame the problem, in the solution you offer, in the conviction behind your words. That is your authenticity. Does that make sense? The language layer is not where your authenticity lies. It's not where it lives. It lives in your definite major purpose. That's your core. If you heard me standing up for my bride or standing up for Mason and you didn't know me, you would have to assume, you would say, I bet that's his wife. I bet that's his son. You didn't need to read an article that said, my son is Mason Murphy and I will defend him. My bride is Michelle Murphy and I will defend her. It lives in my DMP. It lives in who I am. It lives in my identity. The challenge with most people's marketing is that nobody knows who you are because they can't hear it in what you're not saying. Does that make sense? Who you are speaks so loud, I don't need to hear the words coming out of your mouth. The entrepreneur who resists this tend to write marketing that sounds like them, but lands for no one. Does that make sense? If you don't have your DMP clearly locked in, this is a Wallace D. Wattles moment. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing them in a certain way. And if you're not doing the certain way, using these outlines, you will struggle. You don't want it to land for no one. The entrepreneur who embrace and write marketing that sounds like their avatar, that sounds like their best business partner, it'll land for exactly the right person. And when the right people read it, they don't feel sold to, they feel found. That's the moment you want. You want people to feel found. If somebody looks at your post, somebody looks at your marketing, will they feel like somebody that they found a home, they found a place? That's what all of this is building towards. Not a transaction, not a recognition. We want to connect with them at such a visceral level that they feel like we've known them forever. This is the moment before belonging, when somebody reads your words and thinks, this person gets me. This was written for me. I'm in the right place. That moment doesn't happen with clever copy. It happens with precision copy. And that precision comes from listening to your prospect. So that's episode 5. And episode 6, your origin story as a marketing asset. Because once you learn the language, once you have the language built, we're going to layer in the element that makes everything trustworthy. The story of why you belong in this work in a way nobody else does. That's your origin story. So build your copy framework today. 4 sections. Use the research you did from episode 4. If not, go back and watch that video. This is the document that makes everything else faster and better. I'm Sean Murphy, your DMP marketing misfit. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Hey, misfits, good morning. I hope you are doing well. Questions?